Courier News and the Star Ledger, filed with the municipal clerk and posted on the municipal bulletin board on December 24th, 2020. Please join me in allegiance. I got my flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the
republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, here's Tom. There he's coming in. Okay. We do not have any presentations tonight, so it is now time for our open session. So if anyone in the public would like to speak, please raise your hand either in the participants menu. You can click on that, or I think there's enough of us that we can see you if you raise your hand on screen. And please keep your comments to 3 minutes and just state your name and address. Would anyone from the public like to be heard? You see anybody? Anthony, you see anybody?
No, don't see anyone.
Okay, I will close the public session. Ordinances, we have an introduction. Christine, would you like to introduce that?
Yes. Let me go up. I move that ordinance 2021-1871 concerning sewer connection fees and sewer user rates and allocation and amending the chapter 16 of the Borough Code entitled Sewer Regulations be introduced by title, passed on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be scheduled for a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. Monday, January 25th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty, so we'll have that on the next agenda. Resolutions, we have 2120 through 2129. I am going to pull 2127 to do separately. Does anybody have questions on any of the other ones?
Just give me a second, Mayor. I had questions on one of them. Let me get the number.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Was it the holidays one or?
No, it was not.
Yeah, I think we do that every year. You switch out for.
So I had a question.
Yes.
The question that I had was on the bids for drainage improvement to Washington Corner Road and Carriage House Road. If you can pull
Yeah.
that.
That was, yeah, quite a difference from the highest to lowest, wasn't it?
It was, and I just have a little bit of question about its where it came from, and I don't remember discussing this at full council. So if we can just pull that off, I'd like to discuss it.
Is that 2021?
I'm in the appendix.
2121.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
2121. Okay. All right. So anybody else have questions on any of the others or want to pull them off? Do you want to talk about that one now before we?
Yeah, we can. And I also had a question about 2129. So, Christy, those on the Public Works Committee. So 2 questions. Number 1, financing. Is this, Tom, is this coming out of the general fund? Is this a bill that we're expecting, number 1? And then I guess number 2, I'm assuming that this has been fully discussed at the Public Works Committee and this work is necessary?
I'm going to look it up on the agenda. Just give me a second.
Yeah, it's on page 29.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to go back. The funding for said project was ordinance 2020-1856. And then it also references an ordinance from 2015.
Yeah. I don't remember discussing this in last year. Did we, Christine?
Yeah, I don't remember discussing this in Public Works specifically. I mean, I remember discussing Washington Corner and Carriage House in general.
Yeah.
Well, we discussed the need for the road work. Wasn't the drainage part of that?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I would assume so, but we have grants. Right?
I see an email that kind of goes into some detail from December 16th. But this doesn't look like it was the full council on that email. It was just the committee.
Yeah.
So let me go into.
And Tom, I don't think this is part of the current finance plan, correct?
I think this is.
These are
2020.
funded project. These are funded projects, but one of them is a 2020 ordinance.
Yeah, these are 2020 funds, I believe. I don't know, Ralph, can you give any clarity on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, the 2015 one is from the $10 million
Right,
bond
bond.
that was done in 15. Yeah, I think that is actually, we will be completing that this year, finally. The others, I did know, I agree with Tom. I believe that this is 2020 money, not anything coming out of what we're talking about at this point in time. But I was not at the public works meetings, so I don't, the details are a little sketchy to me.
Bids were received on December 22nd, so you do have time if you need more information.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not spend $341,000 without certain information.
So it's just Washington Corner Road and Carriage House Road that's being paved. So this is that project.
And
And
those
it was discussed in Public Works, but it was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I don't remember just like the
give you.
drainage.
Yeah, Washington Corner Road is in terrible condition and continues to deteriorate in spite of DPW's road crew's substantial patching efforts. We are losing the edge of the roadway, which has had the major impact of increasing the cost of repair from $400,000 in 2014 to $700,000 in 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, but Christine, that's for the road itself. And we have a grant for the paving itself. This is only for the drainage.
Okay, so the thrust of the discussion, and this goes back to April, so it's probably why it's been some time. This is just an email from Doug to me, Gina, Tom, Ralph, Anthony, about the funding for this. So we can wait, but I guess maybe we can get like a nice summary of everything that's happened since April, since it's kind of gone on all year.
Yeah, maybe if you can get, a historical, line of how we got to this point, where it started, where the funding is from.
Yeah.
And it probably is out of the end of the bond, because I know those two projects were.
Part of it is definitely that, Mayor.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So maybe we can just get a chronology of how we got here.
And why I assume the reasons why we're doing it is justified, but it'd be really good to get a very concrete description before we go and pass this kind of a number.
Okay.
Maybe it'd be helpful going forward if we did get stuff like this, just sort of like as a little footnote to the presentation, where the funding came from and how it was, previously approved or reserved. Yes. Say the back and forth that, because, we're not always into the loop on this. So maybe it can be appended to the future ones.
Well, especially if something is referencing a resolution in 2016 that predates many of us.
Yeah. Okay. Were there any other resolutions? Chad, you had another one, I think?
Yeah, let me go to it. Hold on one second. Oh, shoot.
It was 2129, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
For the fees for the lot.
Yeah, and this was for a specific project that Doug is asking us to waive the fees for the paving of Chestnut and Crestview.
So, when we passed the increased fees, I know we had a discussion about, look, if we don't prefer that equipment is stored on this lot that's right at the beginning of our town that's seen by every person that drives up and down 202. So if we have to use it, we'll get a fee for it. And if not, we need to find another location in the borough for storing of said equipment. did anything ever come of that second piece in regards to where, other than right in the corridor of our town, that we can store this stuff? I imagine that to pave these roads, the amount of equipment that's going to have to go there is going to be pretty substantial.
I think someone mentioned that we were gonna ask that church down 202 that's on Meeker, I think. But I'm not sure if,
Well, if they're doing Chestnut and Crestview, I mean, it seems like that's quite a
Yeah.
ways too.
Yeah.
To-
Ralph, did anything ever come of this?
I think there were two logics for what we were doing with this. One was that to the extent that we don't want the stuff at the front of town, that's one thing, but people don't also want it in front of their homes for extended periods of time either. And I think that was one of the things was there was a lot of storage up on I'm forgetting the names of the streets, but the ones by the middle school.
Yeah.
When we were there, and they were there for I think 6 or 8 weeks, and that was causing some of our residents to be concerned. So I think having it in a central place that's not as close to the neighborhood, it's kind of a double-edged sword. But there's pluses and minuses to doing it at this location. Secondly, was we had been giving it away for free, which is why we came up with the plan. And I think that Doug Walker's point is that by charging people who are doing work for us ends up increasing our cost of the bid. And it's a kind of a moot point. It's like we charge them, then they turn around and charge us more to do the work that we're paying them to do on our behalf. The idea, I think, for us to charge for this use of this lot was when people like JCP&L or New Jersey American Water were coming into town and they weren't doing our work, they were doing work for their benefit. Then that they were using it, then we would charge them. I think that was the concept and why we would waive it in this circumstance.
I'm with you, Tom, and I think, look, I don't want to hold up the paving and milling of this particular road. Has been very important in the works for a while. However, I'd like to stress, to Ralph and the group, we need to find an alternate for this.
Well, and at some point there will be, our affordable housing will be on that lot. So that lot will not be available after a certain period of time. So for now it is open and available, but yeah, I agree. We will need to find another location.
The concept wasn't to promote the use of this lot. The concept was if they're going to be getting the lot, they shouldn't get it for free. That was the idea of this, this original.
Yeah, I completely recall the conversation, Tom. I'm trying to just get us to try to choose a different page.
Well, I thought we expressly excluded those public service projects of our own.
Which is why I think this is on our agenda tonight, because we're saying we're not going to charge people who are doing work for us.
Right.
Yeah, but can we just have Ralph and Public Works look into other options that might be available? So when this does come through, that's not the default location. Maybe somewhere up in the quarry.
Agenda, Christine, next meeting.
No, that's me.
Are we in conjunction with your proposal?
Oh, that's you. That's right. Sorry. New year.
Are we saying that we're going to approve this request and then look at it in the future, Councilwoman?
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting, Tom.
Yeah, I'm okay to approve this request regardless. I mean, to waive the fees. I mean, and again, I think that we shouldn't raise our own, costs. But I guess what I'm asking for, even for this, is to find other locations that we could, offer up to the contractors, rather than just using this lot by default. But I'll put it up in Public Works.
Yeah. So let's put that on Public Works agenda. And for now, we just want to approve this so they can get that project going.
Well,
all right.
Just get the bid out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just looking at the resolutions from 2120 to 2129 without 21 and without 27. So do I have a motion for the rest of them?
I'll move.
I'll second.
I'll trust what you said because I don't have the right piece.
Yeah. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Hammond?
Yes.
Ms. McCready?
Yes.
Mr. McQueen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Day?
Yes.
Ms. Zamara?
yes.
Okay. Now we have 2127, which is consenting to the appointment by the mayor of Thomas Chernietsky as borough administrator. I said it right too, didn't I?
Yes, thumbs up.
All right. Good job, Mayor. So what I'd like to do is, first of all, have our former personnel chair, Chad explained the process we went through, which was not an easy one or a short one. So Chad, you want to go through the procedure?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. And, I'll start by saying again, look, this is going to be the month of thank yous to Ralph. Ralph, this has been a long time that you've been here under the leadership of the borough, and you will be sorely missed. But upon Ralph's announcement of his pending retirement, we did proceed in a very thorough evaluation for a new leader for our borough. We were very fortunate. We hired the consulting guidance from the Canning Group, who initially sent out multiple email communications, and we were able to receive approximately 30 applicants to the job. The Canning Group then went through a relatively rigorous process, since they do this professionally, in technically rating these candidates, and narrowed them down to 12 that went through a very rigorous interview process. Ultimately, we narrowed it down further to the full council interviewed 8 candidates, and we were able finally to make our selection, which I will let the mayor introduce, because we're very excited to have him with us here tonight.
Yeah, and Tom will be starting on February 8th. Comes to us with vast background. He has served either as a township manager or an assistant manager in 4 different municipalities of all different sizes. He was recognized by the New Jersey Municipal Management Association as an outstanding municipal manager. He received that award. He's been in Randolph, Evansham, East Hampton. I lost track of all the, what was Howell and Randolph also. So lots of experience. He's also a accredited planner, which will be a big asset for us as we move into our redevelopment plan, as well as has extensive experience in recreation facilities. And as we get our recreation plan done, that will also be a big help to us. He has his bachelor's in political science from Montclair and his master's in I want to say business. No, what was it in? I'm sorry. Help me out here.
Okay. Public administration.
That's it. Public administration from Kane University. Just a wealth of experience. Done a lot of, and currently is at, he's senior vice president for administration and operations at Rowan College at Burlington County. And which was, kind of a stretch going into education from municipalities, and just made that transition. And we were just impressed with how adaptable, flexible, and experienced he is. And we're just really thrilled to have him continue what Ralph has started and kept going, that we will continue to just, have everything run smoothly and really take us into the future. So welcome. And thank you, Frank. I see Frank is here for helping us through this process. You have been incredibly helpful, really guiding us and doing a lot of all the background work to make us look good. So thank you.
My pleasure, Mayor. It was a pleasure to serve the borough. Thank you so much.
And Tom will actually, even though he's starting February 8th, will be spending a couple of days with Ralph before he leaves to get to know everybody and, find out where everything is. That will be great. So thanks for taking the time to do that.
Sure.
And Mayor, if I could just add one more thing that I neglected to mention.
Sure.
For the members of the public, and this was a common thread as we were interviewing candidates, as a borough, as everyone's aware, we're at an inflection point right now. We have passed several ordinances and plans over the last year to completely change many aspects of our downtown. And we were specifically searching for a leader that's done it before, that brought the planning background, that brought the ability to our borough to lead us through this redevelopment and through this next phase of what Bernardsville is. And Tom, part of taking a new job is having lofty expectations. We're really glad that you're here to help us lead us through this next phase of what Bernardsville hopefully can be.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chad. It's good.
Mayor, may I say a word or two?
Absolutely.
So first, I want to thank you and the council for your confidence. I appreciate it, and I really look forward to getting started. I just want to reaffirm that this was probably the most intensive, extensive interview process I've ever been part of. But, you know, the value of that, and I'm sure this went to all the applicants, is that I personally got more and more excited as we went through it because it reflected your commitment to your responsibilities. So it really made me want to be part of this team even more. So congratulations on an excellent process. Even more so because I came through at the end, but objectively speaking, it was an excellent process, and I'm very proud to have been part of it. The one thing you did make clear, and I want to, reaffirm what Councilman said about Ralph, is it's clear to me that I have some big shoes to fill. You have a highly respected public administrator in that role. And I look forward to working with him and picking his brain. And I want to thank him for being so warm and welcoming, along with Anthony, and getting me coordinated. And I can't wait for us to meet. And if you may allow me one more thing. Under normal circumstances, if I were to attend one of these meetings, I would bring my wife with me so I can introduce her to you, so she's not a stranger when we show up at events together. So if I can just ask my wife to swing over here.
Would love that.
Yeah.
So,
And
so
Tom,
this
speaks to the fact that you get us.
oh, thanks. So this is Jolynn.
Hi.
Hi, Jolynn.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It takes a special person to be an administrator's wife, and so she's a great partner for me. And I look forward to her getting to know you like I've gotten to know you so far when we're able to get through this and socialize a little bit.
We'll say thank you in advance.
Yeah.
Is she the one who has to approve this, or you approve this?
Oh, no. She approved everything.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
That was a great question. I was waiting for the next interview process, which was, her of us.
You're right.
And
Well, and then you're going to be looking to move. So she's got a big job there, both, having to pack up and find some place. And yeah, that's going to
It
be.
always falls on the wife somehow. I don't know.
And
Yeah. What is that? I know.
she'll be impressed that I remember we'll be celebrating 28 years after my first week on the job.
Wow.
Great. Yeah. Happy anniversary. That'll be great.
It was nice meeting everyone.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you.
Nice.
And Tom, did you want to mention about reaching out to each of the members?
Yes, if that's okay, I would, before I start, I would love to speak with each of you individually, get to know you a little bit, and get a sense of what you see as our priorities. And I'll ask Anthony if he can send me some contact information, and we'll arrange a mutually agreeable time, if that's okay, before I start.
I'd love that.
Sounds good. Yep.
Great.
Great.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks again for being here and putting up with us.
Congratulations, Tom.
Okay, now we have to pass the resolution.
So
I can see Jack going like, come on, guys. Okay. Who would like to move 2127?
So I will move 2127, please.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Amara,
Yes.
Mr. O'Day,
Because I was not part of the process, I will abstain.
Mr. McQueen,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Okay, it's
Welcome,
official.
Tom.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it's official.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming.
All right.
And Frank, thank you again.
If it's okay, I'll just stay on until the end.
Sure.
and I'll head out when you go into executive.
Yeah. Okay, next on our list is 6C, which is the Girl Scout cookie sale. They had emailed me, I think you have that in your packet, about trying to find a place where they can set up and be socially distant and try and do it properly. And I had suggested the Fenwick Park.
Yeah.
Because it worked very well for our pop-up craft market. So I told, and I guess, Anthony, you got all their paperwork, right? The insurance, or did they do that yet?
They didn't send it to me yet, but I did give it to them, so they have them. So I'll make sure I get that from them. if approved.
Okay, so they had the dates. It was a bunch of weekends, February 27th and 28th, March 6th and 7th, the 13th and 14th. It looks like every weekend in March. So if anyone has a problem, or you want 10 to 4, I think they'll be probably doing shifts because it'll be cold standing out there. And it may be bad weather or whatever, but is that all right with everyone?
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
We're good. Okay, so you can let them know, Anthony, that that's fine. Okay, 60 was extension of a peddler's license. I didn't realize we even gave those.
I didn't know what this was, so I
know.
Explanation.
Yeah, I sent an email about it too, to ask, like, if we notify the residents that these licenses are given out so that they know. Like, I know there's usually, concerns or people that are notifying others saying so-and-so is walking around town, kind of be aware, watch out. But is there any notification to residents for this?
There's not specifically, but one reason we require the permit is so that the police are aware of it in case they do get any complaints. We really haven't had a problem in town. Some towns have had problems, but to the best of my recollection, we have not had a problem.
So Jack, this is just a permit for him to pass out a flyer?
It's just to go from door to door.
I see.
So how many do we usually give out of these? Do you have any idea?
Anthony, you have a better idea.
I can tell you, we only gave out that one in 2020. Sometimes we've had some college students do this from an environmental group in the past, but they did not apply in 2020. And there's been years where we've had 0. So, and when there's college students, though, then it could be like 10 to 20 of them because there's a lot of people. But normally it's not that many. And this year we only had that one. Some years we've had none.
And over the years, the courts have really cut back on what we're allowed to do for political or issue campaigns. So it's really more the commercial canvassers that we're allowed to do anything with these days.
I don't remember this coming up last year, and it doesn't seem like any of the other council members do either. So I'm just unclear on when he got the original approval.
It doesn't require council approval, but
No.
he got the approval earlier in the maybe February of 2020, but it's not something that requires council approval per the ordinance.
The clerk grants it. It
Yeah.
used to be council approval years
That's
ago, and
true.
Sandy Jones.
Well, if that's
Yes,
if
but
that's
they
the
just
case, then why doesn't he just apply again and then we don't have to get
Well,
involved?
what's the fee for
There's
the
a fee.
borough? What's the fee?
There's a fee? Oh.
$300, and that's what he's looking to
Asking
use that
to
$300 to apply.
That's basically what he's looking for.
Which
Right.
I mean, does anyone have a problem with applying the fee to this year for 2021, since he didn't get to use it in 2020? I think
Well,
that's
a lot of
fair.
people had setbacks in 2020 that, you couldn't recoup. So plus I don't like the idea of people knocking on doors. So I'd be, if he wants to do it, he can pay again.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too.
Do we want somebody knocking on doors? I mean, not sure that this, during COVID should be any less restrictive now than last year. I mean, from a COVID perspective, is it okay? I mean, we could tell him he can use it in the future, but do we want him using it in 2021?
I wasn't totally clear what he was peddling. Was it the insurance? I couldn't-
Financial services, I think.
Financial services.
Right.
It seems to be something very strange to be peddling door to door.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I know that, I won't make a comment. But yeah, if you still
Yeah.
have my goal, I'm not usually going to give you any money.
Capitalism, I
think-
won't get in the way.
I think Councilman O'Day raises a good point that I hadn't thought of. I was thinking about the hardship aspect of it, but for the next 6 months, I'm not sure we want anybody knocking on doors.
It doesn't sound like he wants to start right away. I think he just asked that it be extended through 2021. So
Look,
I think it all comes down to the fee. He's
Yeah, I
asking
mean, we
Yeah.
gave this guy the permission and he paid a fee to do something that he wasn't able to do due to circumstances he couldn't control. I'm okay if it was granted already to continue.
I mean, or we return his money. I mean, that's our other option, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it'd be better to just hold on to it and when he's ready to use it.
Yeah.
Because we're in a new year and he paid it last year and I don't know, then to give
Yeah.
him money
No,
back.
I agree. I was just throwing it out because there's not many
So
other
other than
options.
John, does anybody else have a problem with extending it? Sorry, John.
I would,
That's okay.
I would only extend it with the caveat attached to it, saying it's extended contingent on the fact that he comply with all state required COVID restrictions.
That's
Yeah,
reasonable.
I suggest we do it by motion, just so it's in the record.
And that's a fair addition,
I would say
Tom.
state and local recommended COVID restrictions.
Right.
He has to follow them all, because if he doesn't, then I don't think we should let him do it.
What Councilman O'Day said, I second. We're getting informal.
Can we do it all in favor?
Yes, voice vote's fine.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Any
No,
opposed?
no,
Opposed?
yes, nay.
Okay. One opposed. Okay, correspondence, we just had that one letter, that the CARES Act, the schools got $35,000 to cover the cost of their PPE. So, we were just notified of it. So I shared that with you. Mayor's update. Okay, this is me. On the 7th was the deadline for the RFPs for 65 Morristown Road, which was the Audi dealership. We actually got only one proposal that was incomplete. So I spoke to Chris Colley today, and he's going to reach out and try and get the rest, what all the things that they were supposed to send in with that. They need to submit more information. So hopefully it will be a successful RFP.
So Mayor, if we have to extend the deadline for an incomplete RFP, can we keep the RFP open until?
No, I think we closed it, but since we only had one, I think we can ask them for more information or actually negotiate with the one person we had.
If we're not happy with them, we can go out again if we want to.
Right.
We can always reject our bids, right?
Yes.
That's right. This is not a formal bid process.
Yeah, it's an RFP, so
RFP.
it's a little more flexible.
Correct.
On the monthly
Kind of
call,
disappointing.
I know.
Did we advertise? Sorry.
Yes, it was sent to a couple of the publications for developers. It was sent to other developers who had showed an interest in the past. I think Anthony put it was in the paper. So yeah.
On the website.
It's an odd piece of property. It's not all that attractive. So, and I think if the RFP we did get, if we get the rest of the information, I think it's a good proposal. It's just they didn't give us enough details. So I'm hoping that this one's going to work out. And they're in negotiations with the owner to purchase it, which is also positive. So,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, it's fine. On the monthly call with the governor's office, they are asking for retired healthcare professionals to volunteer to help with vaccine administration. So if anyone knows people that might be interested, it's on the covid19.nj.gov/volunteer.
So Mayor and Jeff, what I didn't see in the communication, are they offering any kind of refresher training for?
Are they offering, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. Are they offering what?
Refresher training, I guess. So if you haven't given an injection in 10 years, maybe you need to brush up. Right.
First of all, you would have to join the Medical Reserve Corps, which is a bit of a process with the background checks and et cetera, as you might expect. And you have to have a current license. So you can be retired, but you've had to have maintained your license. But to answer your question, yes, if you were somebody who, in the course of your practice, you did not normally give vaccinations or injections, there would be, in fact, it's required that you go through a supervised process to make sure you're capable.
Now, Jeff, also for public record, just because I know folks will listen to this, clearly MDs, RNs, PAs would be eligible. Are they accepting any other types of healthcare providers? I know a lot of vaccination centers are being done in pharmacies now. What types of medical providers are they looking for?
Yeah, I was actually going to interject that the pharmacists are part of that as well. Yes.
Yeah. They also, I know a lot of the mayors were asking for a better sense of a timeline of when each group is going to be, when we move from 1A to 1B to 1C. So hopefully we'll get that soon. And maybe, Jeff, you can just update us now on what your committee's doing.
Sure. This is a part of an advisory committee to the county commissioners, and myself, Mayor Vallone from Far Hills, and Mayor Kramer from Franklin. And the reason why we were chosen was because we're all physicians as well as elected officials. And then there are some non-medical people as part of this advisory group. And right now we meet with Dr. Reddy from the Department of Health, virtually meet with her. So the plan right now is as I gear up, there's a number of constraints, not the least of which, in fact, maybe most formidable, is that there's no set cadence of how many vaccination doses are given to the county on a week-to-week basis. So, for example, the first order that we submitted, we only got half of what we asked for. So we have right now only opened up one site that's not run by the state, the one county site, which is at RVCC. And that'll be the sole site through January. And then they'll open up 3 other sites in addition to RVCC in February. And if the need warrants it and we get the vaccines, they'll open up even more. In their process of escalating people from group 1B into 1A, you may have read about it. It's, for example, uniformed services, firefighters, police officers, EMS have been moved up into the 1A group. We are handcuffed a bit because the state is mandating, at least right now, that one size fits all approach. So every county has to do this, do it. And we've argued that some counties, such as ours, may have a higher proportion of people who ought to be in 1A or 1B than, say, another smaller county or more rural county. And that the county should be able to make that decision about when you move from 1A to 1B to 1C. I think there's a general consensus now that we're not going to wait for everybody in 1A to get vaccinated before you move to 1B. And you've probably seen that the state at some of their sites has moved in that direction. So, make a long story short, they haven't given us a date. They haven't given us permission. It's something that we are asking repeatedly about. Our goal right now, we figured out if we want to vaccinate 70% of the 300,000+ people in Somerset County by the end of the summer, we would have to do at least 1,000 patients a day, or people a day. We're way behind that. So what'll happen? We'll have to escalate to so that once the vaccine becomes more readily available, we're up to 2,500 per day. That's our calculation, and hence the request for volunteers so that we can run the vaccination clinics, more than 8 hours a day. In fact, more than 12 hours a day. That's the idea. Hopefully, I didn't run on too long, but that's the synopsis of where we're at now.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. Thank you, Jeff. On January 8th, they had the county reorganization meeting and the swearing in of the new county commissioners, because now they're no longer called freeholders, and the surrogate. Chanel Robinson will again be the director, and Sarah Suey will be the deputy director for another year. On this past Saturday, we had another mural painting session in the train station. It was fully booked, and they're set up for half-hour slots, 8 people every half hour. And I think like 3 or 4 days before Saturday, all the slots were full. Gina and couple of hers were there painting. It really was a very successful day. And what one group did, which I thought was clever, is she had her daughter bring 7 friends, and they did a birthday party, and then they brought pizza and ate pizza over in the waiting area. So it was, kind of said, I didn't want to do one more drive-by birthday, so something to think about to help celebrate a birthday. I think the next session will be on January 22nd. It's, I think, from 5 to 7. I'm not sure about the time, but the sign up, if you go to downtownbernardsville.com, on the calendar, you can register on the dates. You just go to their calendar and it'll have the registration. That's kind of an adult only date night painting session. So if you want to, bring your spouse, paint a little, go out to dinner, that kind of thing. And then I think the next will be Saturday, the 29th. It was also the first day of the winter market outdoors, and that went very well. I think there was really a lot of people that showed up for the winter market. A lot of vendors were there. So hopefully that will keep going.
Yeah, Mayor, sorry, I just wanted to say how easy it was to sign up for the mural painting. Super easy on the Downtown Bernardsville website. And they are also accepting donations on the website and also in cash, in person, when you show up to actually do painting.
Yes, and thank you for your donation, Councilwoman McCready. Tomorrow I'm going to be attending a seminar. The county is now rolling out they're calling it the Somerset County Marketplace, that I believe Commissioner Morano has spearheaded, for a site to share services and equipment so that you can log on and say, hey, we've got a cherry picker, and if you need one, you can, I'll find out more about that tomorrow, but I think it's exciting that we're finally really getting to a shared service like that. On the 13th, Walter Lane has helped us get an appointment to have our first meeting on becoming a transit village. So we're hoping that moves forward now that we've got our redevelopment plan to get that designation, because with that designation, we're eligible for more grants than we can get now. So Walter Lane set that up, and we'll have our engineer and our planner and I think John McDowell and that crew there to explore that. So, and just a reminder, also on Wednesday is the Somerset County Governing Officials meeting at 6:30. I think Jeff and I are always pushing it because it's really a good way to meet. It's a nonpartisan group of governing officials, and the speaker will be Colleen Marr, who is the new county administrator. And she was the mayor of, what was it, Fanwood? Yeah, I want to say Fanwood. Yeah. And she, I think in 2019, was the president of the League of Municipalities. Really dynamic person, and worth, finding out what her plans are for the county and how they can help us on the local level. So it's, you just have to, I think you all got the invitation probably. If you don't, let me know, because it's worth going to. And it's usually just an hour. It's like 6:30 to 7:30. So just a reminder on that. And that's the end of my report. Do we have any unfinished business?
If I could just go back one thing, make an announcement about the COVID thing is the county commissioners wanted each of the municipalities to, again, encourage everybody to go to the state site to register. You may not hear for 2 or 3 weeks or more, but everybody should register for the COVID vaccination so that when your group comes up, you're contacted.
I did that. And actually I'm a 1C. But it's interesting. I got a confirmation that I registered, but my husband never did. So I don't know what.
Yeah, that's variable. I've heard that complaint as well. Yeah. I don't know if it's a glitch in the system or what, but some people are being notified and others are not.
Yeah, but it's nice because it'll tell you, when you fill out a questionnaire, it'll tell you, what category you fall into. So you kind of can get a sense of when your number is going to come up. So
I think with quite frankly, I don't say this to be political, but when President Biden gets inaugurated and he releases the 100 million doses, I think things will accelerate.
Yeah, that'd be great. Any other did we do your resolution for the grant?
That's under unfinished business.
That's where we are. We're in unfinished.
Mary Jane, did you get to the CARES thing? I
Yeah,
don't know.
That was the
Okay.
correspondence.
I skipped it. Yes. Okay, good. I must have zoned out. Just wanted to make sure we didn't skip it. Okay.
Nope, I said that. Unfinished business was, Jeff,
Right, we discussed this the last meeting. There's a Sustainable Jersey technical assistance grant. No money changes hands, but they would provide the technical assistance to look at our buildings and make recommendations for energy efficiency and things of that nature. Now, we've done that internally several years ago, but we didn't cover all of our buildings, and particularly some of the ones that are very much in need of that. So we have a resolution. I apologize that I didn't get it out in time to get it into the packet. I don't know whether Anthony, you can show it. It's actually stock language that Sustainable Jersey supplies. And it just basically says that the borough is behind this effort. There's no cost to the borough. We basically just have to have a liaison available to them and then be able to allow them time to make a report at a future meeting. There is a little bit of data, which I'm told by Ralph, Leslie can provide, namely 14 months of utility bills that we would have to provide them as part of this application.
okay, would you like to move it?
Unless anybody has, I guess I have to move it before there are questions. Yes, I'd like to move, I didn't see what the number is there, Anthony.
I'm sorry, I moved this to 21-30.
21-30, resolution of support from the local governing body authorizing the Sustainable Jersey Energy Technical Assistance application.
I'll second.
Okay,
Can you
question?
just scroll down, Anthony?
yeah, that's
Sorry, so we can finish
You
reading
can
it.
read it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I should add while you're reading that I coordinated this with Bob Baker of the Green Team, and he's in favor of this as well.
Can you continue to scroll down, Anthony, please?
That should be the end of it right there.
You know, my only concern in this is, so position number one, I think any type of evaluation like this can be beneficial. The concern is, are any reports binding at all? So let's just say that they find that the borough hall is leaking heat out of every orifice. We don't have $1 million to go fix borough hall.
No, it's not binding. It's no different than the walkability study we did some years ago, where they made recommendations, and we were able to do some and not others. So they're just telling you what the art of the possible is. It would be up to you to decide to do it or not.
Okay, and I'm fine with this.
Any other questions? Okay.
I mean, I didn't get to read everything, but I get the gist. It's good.
Yeah.
We're going to apply for a
So-
grant.
Roll call.
And admittedly, I don't want to get people's hopes up. This is a stretch to get this because they made it they made it quite clear that the preference is going to be given to communities that are more economically stressed than we are.
Yeah.
Well, it always depends who applies. So
That's true.
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt
definition
to
of
apply.
economically stressed.
yeah, if we're the only applicant, then we're the winner.
Exactly. Okay, Anthony, roll call, please.
Mr. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. McQueen,
Yes.
Mr. O'Day,
Yes.
Ms. Zamara.
Yes.
Okay, you can take that down. There we go. Any new business?
Sorry, wait, sorry.
What?
Unfinished business. Sorry.
Sorry.
I just, the RFP responses for Audi is getting me thinking. So I'm thinking about the train station and also Quimby as far as advertising and stuff goes. I know, that there's been lots of activity on the train station side, but not sure about Quimby. And if we need to kind of, I don't know, do something else as far as advertisements so that we get as many people as possible responding from an RFP perspective. It's only in our best interest to have as many people responding as we possibly can, for negotiating and everything else. So I'm just wondering what we're doing to advertise for the Quimby RFP, and also to see if we've reached out to all of the I know we had an RFP originally, if we
Right.
reached out to those prior people and kind of inform them of, where we are, what we're doing, and kind of see, let them know that we've put this back out.
Yeah, I think I just spoke to Chris Colley today, and they are in the process of doing that. I think, Anthony, did you hear from him? Because he had asked you to, he was going to ask you to do contact all the the previous
Oh, good.
bidders.
Okay.
I have not heard from him, but I will follow up with him.
Yeah, he was going to reach out to you on that. And again, they were putting it all in all the local publications for developers. And also, I know last time the committee had an extensive list as well that they had sent to where we got the 3 from. So we will be meeting with the committee and asking them to help push it out too.
Sorry, which committee is that?
The Downtown Redevelopment
Oh,
Committee.
the redevelopment. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They had extensive contacts, at least some of the members do.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I don't know how we can get, are there other redevelopment projects that happen in other towns? I don't know if we're allowed to reach out and just say, hey, this is here. I don't know if that's legal or not.
Jack's nodding his head.
It's legal, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it might be good to get some of these other, people that have experience doing these in other towns. That would help.
Absolutely.
Mary Jane, would it be completely inappropriate if I asked Tom his ideas coming new into this process, what has been done in the past to advertise projects like this?
Putting him to work already.
He may have done things that we haven't in the past or that Ralph hasn't that may help us through the process.
So I think that really reaching out to other towns is important because you can get a feel for people that they've worked with before that you may not have heard of. And also it's important to know who's easy to work with and who's not. So you might be able to collect some good intelligence that way, reaching out to our colleagues, our counterparts. But yeah, and just we should be able to pull a list from the DCA because I think any sort of redevelopment agreements have to be filed at Division of Local Government Services. So you might be able to get a list of developers as well that way.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
have we pulled down that DC8 list, Anthony?
I mean, this is what Topology is hopefully doing for us, but I will check with them because I just spoke to Chris today and he was going to follow up. So I'll see if he's done that. Plus there's developers they've worked with in other towns as well through their planning.
Yeah, as many people as we can reach out to. I don't want to end up in the same situation with Audi.
No.
And the more people we have, and I mean, they'll probably be eliminated for lots of different reasons, but negotiating power, I love it. So the more people we have that respond, the more negotiating power we have. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Okay, any other unfinished business? Okay, new business.
I have one item of new business, Mayor, if that's okay.
All right.
So I know that over the course of the last 12 months, we've been talking about mission. We've been talking about cohesion amongst ourselves as well as our committees. I noticed the other day as I was going through the borough website that only one committee, which was the Open Space Committee, and I apologize if I missed other ones, has actually updated their charter and or their guidance documents for 2021. The other thing,
Cultural Arts did.
what was that?
The Cultural Arts did.
Oh, did they? Okay. So I'd like to ask each committee, and Anthony, if we could work together to complete a charter that has some uniformity. So it should begin with a mission, and then it should then sort of subsequent to that mission state what their charters are. So if you pull up the Open Space Advisory Committee, they have A through H which is dealing with things such as identify specific sites and recommendations for open space and other lands. They have a list of what their roles are in the borough. Now, I know that Tom is coming in the next 30 days. I'd like to propose that we ask each committee to update those items in a uniform way so we can discuss them with Tom and also as a council to make sure that the committees are going in the right direction for this calendar year.
And a lot of them, you know, I think I see what you, when you click on, you know, where it says committees on the website, you know, you get like a list of names of who's on it and the dates they meet. But I think what we need to have is a description, and a lot of them, I think like open space, I think what they have on there is right from the ordinance that created them.
Yes.
And so it's just not a heavy lift for them to do, because a lot of them, it's right in the ordinance that, you know, created.
I could pull that out of the ordinance for a lot of the committees and just submit it to AlphaDog and get it posted up there if you want.
Well,
I mean, we could certainly ask the committees if you want also, but
Well,
if
they
you
don't, it may not be where they are now, though. It might, you know,
Oh,
maybe
okay,
their role has changed a little bit, or they want to change what they're doing. So
Okay.
they should look at it, but use the ordinance as their springboard.
Yes, and Anthony, if they could differentiate, if there are items in the ordinance that are either no longer relevant or no longer accurate, that also is very useful for us.
Okay.
Because if we need to change their guiding document, we need to change those as well.
right.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
I think pulling it, Anthony, from the ordinances, but sending it to each of the committee chairs is
Yeah,
the way
right.
to go.
Yeah, I'll send it to the chairs.
yeah, because it's also helpful for people that are looking to volunteer to have a place to look at. Well, what does this committee do? You know, before I sign up for it, I want to see if it's something that interests me. So yeah, great idea. Thank you.
If it's okay with the council, I'll work with Anthony to sort of standardize the form, you know, with the various things I see on the website.
I like the idea about having a standardized form. It helps the committees, but it helps the people who are looking across the committees too.
And it helps us too, Tom.
Yeah, I think it'll help our new business administrator as well. At least come up to speed quicker.
It sure will. I was going to ask to get a copy of those sent my way, but I would like an official borough email address.
We're getting them just special for you, Tom.
Okay, any other new business?
I just wanted to bring to the public about the email we received. Well, not everyone received it, but I guess apparently there was some, the delay with the recycling had some people kind of worried about it, but it's back on schedule. And there's also information on the county website about buying additional totes. If any residents can't seem to be able to fit everything in what they have, they can buy additional totes. The 45-gallon is $31.54. And more information is going to be put on, you know, individual cans of people who kind of are not abiding by the rules of keeping they only take what's in the tote. If you put stuff next to it, they don't take it, or they leave you a note. So now I think instead of the note, you're going to get this thing saying, if you need more totes, they're $31. So just a heads up or FYI, if anyone needs an additional tote. And then we
Only
also,
for December.
Yeah, it was all the Amazon boxes.
Yeah.
well, yeah. So the other thing we receive, and we've been getting updates from the health department about COVID testing in local locations, which I think is great. So residents can take advantage of the COVID testing that the health department is offering. So I've been posting that on the bubble and on Facebook as I see them. But if anyone wants to do that, you just go to Bernards Township Health Department website and the information is there about COVID testing.
Yeah, you do have to pre-register, but you don't have
Yes.
to have a prescription or anything. So.
Right.
The next was this Thursday, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is Thursday in Bernards Township.
Yeah, so in the beginning part is for first responders, but then the rest is for, and you know, you should just register for it or contact them if you have questions.
Okay, thanks. Anything else? Okay, do I have a motion for executive session?
I'll move to executive session.
I'll second.
I understand in addition to personnel, we may be discussing anticipated litigation.
Pending litigation, yes, it's on the agenda.
Oh, okay. I must have an earlier copy.
Yeah, I think Anthony updated it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And Mayor, we may come out afterwards.
Okay, so we may return. All right, Tom, thank you again for being here with us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, can't wait. I'm coming up Friday. And thank you again, everyone.
Right. See you
Have a great
Friday.
evening.
All right,
Congrats.
okay, we are now going into executive session.